listening to Strange Shit Happens.
From the great American Pacific Northwest, greetings and welcome, my friends, to this week's edition of Strange Shit Happens in the News. I'm Sean Wharton. We begin this week in Arizona, where 28 years later, the Phoenix Lights remains one of the most infamous UFO sightings in history. Was it military aircraft, celestial misidentification, or something truly unexplainable? Meanwhile, in Argentina, two young women find themselves pursued down a desolate road by an eerie glowing orb. Was it a well-known local paranormal entity? Misidentified headlights? Or perhaps something completely otherworldly? And from the skies to the suburbs, a Pennsylvania resident found themselves face-to-face via ring camera with the box demon. The police say there's nothing to worry about, but something about it feels unfinished. Meanwhile, in Congo, rumors of Mokele Mbembe, a legendary dinosaur-like beast, continue to spread as deforestation drives people and wildlife into closer contact. What's lurking in the jungle? Prehistoric survivor or just a very confused hippo? And finally, an ecological mystery of an entirely different kind. Whale pee. Turns out the ocean's largest creatures are also its most unappreciated fertilizer distributors, transporting thousands and thousands of tons of nutrients across entire ocean basins. It's a messy job, but someone's got to do it. UFOs, cryptids, questionable home deliveries, and the secret power of whale waste. It's another week of Strange Shit Happens in the News. Now, before we get to the news, don't forget to like or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, or pass this podcast on to spread the word about our show. You can also follow us on X at strange_happens. We post news throughout the week, so follow us there to stay on top of the very latest. And we're also looking for stories from you, paranormal or otherwise. So visit us at www.strangeshithappens.com. That's strangeshithappens.com. And click the report an event button right there on the main page map. You can report your event, whether it's a UFO sighting or some other strange occurrence, right there on the website. You can also leave us an audio message in your submission. It's built right into the form. So whether you want to talk or type, you're able to do either. So again, save it to your bookmarks, visit strangeshithappens.com and give us a holler. And on that note, let's dive right in. It's hard to believe, but it's been 28 years since the Phoenix Lights incident. On March 13th, 1997, thousands of Arizonans gazed skyward at a mysterious V-shaped formation of lights drifting silently above them. Nearly 3 decades later, the Phoenix Lights remains one of the most hotly debated UFO sightings in modern history, sparking endless speculation, documentaries, and the occasional heated dinner table discussion. Among those forever changed by the event is Dr. Lynn Katay, a former medical professional who was so moved by the sighting that she abandoned her career in medicine to study the phenomenon full-time. Calling the Phoenix Lights, quote, the most witnessed, the most documented, and the most anomalous aerial sighting in modern history, Katay remains convinced that what she saw was not of this world. Others, however, suggest a more down-to-earth explanation. Chris Impey, an astronomy professor at the University of Arizona, reminds us that the Southwest is a hotbed of military activity. He suggests that what thousands saw that night might have just been an A-10 aircraft flying in a chevron formation, followed by military flares, or, in what may be the least thrilling explanation ever, Venus. He said, quote, after sunset, you'll see it low on the horizon, and with atmospheric effects, it might look like it's moving or hovering. That's a classic UFO sighting, Impey said, much to the likely disappointment of extraterrestrial enthusiasts, of course. But for Katay and many witnesses, no amount of science speak can dismiss the sheer impact of the event. Quote, the impact it made on the witnesses themselves is so compelling, she said. It cannot be explained. Meanwhile, MP encourages a balanced approach. There's a lot of amazing stuff in the sky, but if you see something you can't explain, practice skepticism. For those who remain mesmerized by the Phoenix Lights, Dr. Katay's documentary will be shown this Sunday at 1 p.m. at the Arizona Heritage Center, Whether you believe in UFOs or just really well-placed military exercises, one thing is certain: this mystery isn't fading anytime soon. And if you haven't ever had a chance to go take a look at the Phoenix Lights, you can see them videos everywhere, really. Go into YouTube, look up Phoenix Lights. It's a pretty incredible sighting, and I remember it distinctly happening live, listening to different radio shows at the time. The internet wasn't quite as prevalent, and how interesting and exciting it was happening, and this big UFO event happening in real time, and people reporting what they were seeing, and the video coming out really quickly. Really, for the first time, it's kind of the first time I actually remember the internet really having an impact on something like a UFO sighting. So anyway, 28 years later, still don't know what it is, but happy anniversary, Phoenix Lights. A routine nighttime drive in Argentina turned into something out of a horror movie when two young women found themselves seemingly pursued by a mysterious floating light. The eerie encounter, captured on video and posted to social media, quickly went viral, amassing over 1.7 million views as users debated whether it was a genuine paranormal event or simply an overactive imagination fueled by a pair of LED headlights. In the footage, the glowing orb appears to drift toward the car as the terrified passenger films, while the driver, perhaps wisely, opts for speed over curiosity. The chase lasted for several kilometers before the light abruptly vanished into the night, leaving behind more questions than answers. The young women, convinced they had encountered La Luz Mala, a well-known legend in rural Argentina about ghostly lights leading travelers astray, shared their chilling experience from Santiago del Estero, a region where such tales have circulated for generations. Social media reactions were predictably split. Some users claimed to have had similar experiences, recounting eerie stories of spectral lights appearing in desolate areas. Others, armed with a more skeptical lens, suggested the ghostly entity was nothing more than a passing vehicle with high beams cutting through the darkness. Quote, "It was probably just a truck with LED lights. No need to call the exorcist," one commenter dryly noted. Whatever the explanation, the event has reignited interest in Argentina's folklore and the phenomenon of La Luz Mala. Whether it was an otherworldly specter or an unfortunate case of mistaken headlights, one thing is certain: these two women will likely think twice before taking another late-night drive through the countryside. A Pennsylvania community can finally rest easy. The so-called box demon has been identified. But while police have assured residents there's no cause for concern, the bizarre case remains shrouded in mystery. The eerie doorbell footage, which sparked viral speculation, showed an individual in a paper plate mask leaving an empty box on a doorstep in North York. The cryptic nature of the late-night visit led authorities to issue a public warning, fueling theories ranging from elaborate prankster to supernatural intruder. In a follow-up announcement, the Northern York County Regional Police Department confirmed they had spoken to the individual behind the mask, stating there was no threat to the public safety anymore. However, in a move as enigmatic as the visit itself, both law enforcement and the homeowner declined to provide further details. This, naturally, has only intensified curiosity. Was this an ill-advised joke, or an obscure social experiment, or the latest installment in Pennsylvania's thriving tradition of small-town oddities such as roaming clowns and the like? The homeowner, Tammy McEnany, initially had no patience for the mysterious antics. Quote, "I'm angry. I don't know who would be too happy with having somebody ringing your doorbell at 4:22 in the morning," she told a local news station. Her message to the masked visitor was blunt: go find something else to do. With the police now involved, it seems likely the box demon is retired completely, at least in this neighborhood. And while the case is now technically closed, it's hard to ignore the lingering questions. Why the mask? Why the empty box? Was this just an elaborate prank, or the first signs of a new cryptid in the making? For now, we can only hope that the box demon finds a new hobby, preferably one that doesn't involve unsettling the good people of North York in the middle of the night. For centuries, the people of the Congo Basin have spoken of Mokele Mbembe, a legendary river-stomping beast often described as a holdover from the age of dinosaurs. The creature's name has long been whispered in village tales passed down through generations, but in recent years, sightings have increased. Not because Jurassic Park is becoming closer to reality, but because deforestation is pushing humans and wildlife closer together. Take Salah Mbongo, a conservationist who once thought she was face to face with the mythical creature in the Odzala Kakua National Park, only to realize it was an elephant. Now, as human settlements expand deeper into once untouched forests, more locals are encountering large animals for the first time, and folklore is adapting to reflect these experiences. Quote, people who have never seen a gorilla before are now hearing them roar at night and calling it Mokele Mbembe, says Congolese biologist Joseph Oyunge. And with each sighting, the legend grows, weaving itself further into the fabric of local storytelling. Despite the entertaining stories, the real issue is habitat destruction. The Congo Basin, often called the lungs of Africa, absorbs 1.5 billion tons of CO2 annually, making it a key player in regulating the planet's climate. But relentless agriculture, logging, and mining are clearing the rainforest at an alarming rate, with 23 million hectares lost in the last 2 decades. The destruction doesn't just create new myths, it also accelerates zoonotic disease transmission, increasing the risk of outbreaks like Ebola and even potentially things like COVID-19. Of course, not everyone is convinced there's a dinosaur roaming around. Quote, there's often a degree of truth in myths, says WWF's Allard Blom, but until someone hands me a photo of a stegosaurus, I remain skeptical. That hasn't stopped cryptozoologists and folklore enthusiasts from speculating, but conservationists say the focus should be on preserving the rainforest rather than chasing shadows. As for Obongo, she since accepted that her terrifying encounter wasn't quite prehistoric. Quote, my colleagues still tease me about it, she says with a smirk. But it's sad, really. People are still mistaking elephants and apes for Mokele Mbembe, but only because their habitat is vanishing. And so is the Congo. Well, as it turns out, whales are not just magnificent ocean giants. They're also nature's very own mobile fertilizer factories. Scientists have long known that whale poop helps support ocean ecosystems, but a new study has revealed that their, shall we say, liquid contributions are just as vital. Yes, whales urinate nitrogen-rich nutrients across thousands of miles, transforming tropical waters into marine superfoods for coral reefs and plankton. Move over, Miracle Grow. Whales have been quietly running the ocean's circulatory system all along. Dubbed the Great Whale Conveyor Belt, this phenomenon sees massive amounts of whale waste. That's including a lot of stuff. Pee, skin, placenta, and the occasional dearly departed whale, delivered from nutrient-rich feeding grounds in cold waters to low-nutrient coastal areas where whales breed. Researchers estimate that great whales transport 4,000 tons of nitrogen and 45,000 tons of biomass annually. And before human whaling devastated populations, those numbers could have been 3 times higher. Think of it like a compost delivery service, except instead of a bag of mulch in your driveway, it's a couple 100 gallons of whale urine dispersing over a coral reef. It is what it is. Migrating whales, including humpbacks and grays, travel thousands of miles from places like Alaska and Antarctica to tropical breeding sites, fasting the entire way while expelling, let's put it politely, biological donations that nourish marine life. The sheer scale of this process is staggering. For example, a single fin whale can produce over 250 gallons of urine daily. Meanwhile, humans struggle to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Scientists argue this massive nutrient transport is reshaping how we view ocean ecosystems, proving that animals other than humans can impact the planet at a global scale. Of course, this whale-powered nutrient recycle service was far more effective before industrial whaling wiped out millions of them. Blue whales, the largest creatures to have ever lived, are still too few in number to properly account for their contribution. But conservation efforts are helping populations rebound, giving researchers hope that one day the oceans will return to their whale-fertilized glory. In the meantime, next time you're gazing at the ocean's beauty, take a moment to appreciate the gentle giants, ensuring the circle of life continues, one colossal flush at a time. Well, that's it. That's all I've got for this week. Don't forget to reach out if you see something unusual in the sky or someplace else, or if you have an interesting story to tell. You can reach us at strangeshithappens.com. Please like or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, or pass this podcast on to spread the word about our little show here. We'd be much appreciative of that. And until next time, keep your eyes to the sky and know that here on Earth and in the universe, we are not alone. For Strange Shit Happens in the News, I'm Sean Wharton.